Behind this foundation insulation is a very old flagstone foundation, and that is on this one of the oldest houses in this tiny little community. And this is an LMO. You know what that is? Last minute opportunity. The people are moving out of this house. They've given me permission to search the lawn. I've been here a couple times, and actually so have a bunch of other people. But I'm Steve Okino, and we are here with History in the Hand, and we are going to search the lawn, primarily the back lawn of this old house, mid-1800s, I believe. So we'll see if we can find some things right here and get some history to hold right in our hand. You are invited. I'll see you at the first hole.
Metal detecting. It's full of adventure, full of planning, for some camaraderie.
Ready, Ryan?
Oh, yeah.
It's full of elation, frustration, and even inspiration. People do it for all sorts of different reasons. Me, I just want to hold a little history in the hand.
Our first find is a piece of an old scythe blade. So that actually matches the old age of the house. But let's see if we can find some non-ferrous items. But that's a pretty cool first hole. On to the next. It's a high tone and it's real close to the surface. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's a Schwinn bicycle tag. An emblem off of the front. That's pretty cool. All right. We'll save it in our interesting things box. Nice. On to the next. And it is in the plug. Ah, look at that. Clorox for 59 cents. Oh my gosh, that's a blast from the past. I think that price has gone up a little bit. But we came out for History in the Hand and we got it. I love it. On to the next. Well, I can see what gave us the signal, but you know, I'm not sure I know exactly what that is. It's very decorative around the outside, and it's made of brass, but I can't quite figure out what it is. I wonder if it was maybe some kind of an oval picture frame or something. If you happen to know what this is, I'm guessing it's got some pretty good age to it. Very decorative, but I don't know what it, I don't really know. I don't recognize it right away. If you think you might know or have an idea, please leave a comment about mystery oval thing. Well, that's nifty. Cool. On to the next. We have a mixed tone in a hole with broken china in it. Not really sure what to expect. I don't really see. Not sure how that got here. We have what I believe, well, actually what I first thought was and I think it is, a suspender clasp, but I don't know that I've seen one like this with a loop before. I wonder if this was actually more for a dress and and fabric would have gone here. Oftentimes, I only find this part, and this part has fallen out, but the actual clasp is still there. So that's what would have grabbed onto the fabric right there. There's the teeth. And then right here, it almost looks like there may have been some kind of writing, but I think it was actually iron, because that looks rusty. Anyone's guess. All right. Cool beans, though. That's a very old find. That could very well be 1800s right there. And we are holding it right in our hand. That's nifty. Okay, on to the next. A familiar sight right there. That is a spoon bowl and the clump of dirt that came out of it. Ooh, that has a little bit of bling on it. Wow, that is nifty. That was some serious plating on that. Let's get our water out. That's beautiful. Look at that. That maintained a lot of its plating. That's pretty impressive. Oftentimes, old spoons I find like this, the plating's really it's come off. Somebody was eating in the backyard. We're gonna get a maker. That's cool. That'll come out in the close-up. All right, on to the next. All right, high tone. I think it's in the plug. It's near the clothesline, but it's also near the surface. It's going to be a penny, and it's going to be modern. Where are you? Land's sakes! All that for a penny. Unbelievable. 1980. We'll take it. It's a coin. I'd really love to snipe a silver coin out of this lawn. I know that they're here, but I also know that there is a metal detector in the area who has been detecting these yards since the 1980s. So, yeah, I'm 35, 40 years later. But we'll see what we can find. By the way, that silver spoon was a W.M. Rogers spoon, and those are they made a lot of silverware, and the model is from 1847. I don't believe that is the I don't think that was the year that it was made, but rather I think that might be the line of it, but we'll check it out later and I'll let you know. On to the next. I see something that is very familiar to me from this area. It is from the 1800s, and it may actually have a date on it, but this was the combustion chamber of a kerosene lamp. There are the little gears that used to push up the wick, and sometimes there is a manufacturer and a date on the little knob here, but I'm not sure if we're going to get one. I'm not sure if we're going to get one off of this, but we never know. I'll slide across here with this little toothpick that I keep handy. Wow, look at that green patina on there. I think I might actually see some writing there. Nifty. All right, well, if we see it at all, we'll pick it up when we take our close-up with our Magnify app on the phone. Yeah, that has a star around it. Now, that's really cool. I love, getting closer to the details of who made these things and possibly finding out when. All right, on to the next. Stop recording. It looks like somebody, what do they call that? A turn pet or a pet valve or I'm not really sure what that would be with the screw there, but it's got some age to it, that is for certain. Nifty. All right, on to the next. Boy, there's nails everywhere. I think that's one of the reasons why it's noisy, but there are nails all over the place. That's all right. On to the next. High tone in the plug. Now, it sounds like a quarter, which means it could be a Hot Wheels car. Or it could be one of these, a chunk of copper pipe. That surprises me, but I should know not to be surprised. On to the next. Funny high tone down pretty deep here. Well, maybe not as deep as I thought. Looks like I, once again, missed it. Do I? No. I was trying to make that into an Indian head penny. 1964. I don't think I would have done that good underground. That was my birth year. All right, on to the next. Oh my gosh. 1889 seated. Unbelievable. I heard this tiny little tone. And it seemed way down deep. I was not getting a VDI number or anything, but I liked the sound of it. Wow. That is one worn out coin. One dime. Holy smokes, did that ever spend pocket time? Oh, wow. And right there is an S. So this was minted in San Francisco. And it made it all the way out here to northern Pennsylvania. Wow. Lady Liberty is barely visible. 1889. Oh my gosh, that is really cool. Well, we got our wish, didn't we? We pulled a seated silver dime out of this front lawn. Oh my gosh, you hear the expression one thin dime. You know what it's for. Wow. Oh, that's great. All right, on to the next. And that big rusty nail right there is probably why nobody else found that seated dime. Because it was right down there next to that, kind of masked by that iron. So, oh, that's so great. On to the next. I'm back the next morning because my wireless microphones spazzed out on me and just gave me a buzzing signal. But I'm here across the road from the house. I found the dime right there off the front door. I did look up here in this side yard, but I think that actually had been added maybe later, because there was hardly anything there. Most of the old stuff I found was in the backyard. That is a schoolhouse that was built in the 1920s. There is the little church built in 1877. And this little village down here was a hopping place back in the day. In that little red building down there, they built boxes for horse-drawn wagons. There used to be a cheese factory there. There was a little sawmill here. Down in town, there was a hotel. There was a general store. There was a blacksmith shop and a post office, multiple businesses, lots of houses. So this whole valley was, down here in the back was a grist mill, and this was a large pond down there. So, my goodness, this town was just a hopping place in the late 1800s. It's really, it's kind of cool for us to find some stuff from those old days. And that's why I metal detect. I absolutely love all of the history. I was told by the gentleman that lives in this house behind this old, or this brand new garage, he said that one time when he was a little boy, he was in the church and lightning struck. And when they went out, there were 3 dead horses laying there from the lightning strike. So it's interesting the history you can learn from the old timers. So what a cool hunt. Let's get back to it and see if we can find anything else.
Well, I'd say that we found a pocket knife way down there, and I can tell you that this pocket knife was lost, not thrown away, because the blades are still in. Normally when I find them, one blade was broken off and turned back in, and the other blade was out and broken off, and when they broke the second blade off, they just chucked it. But that's an oldie. Wow, that went down pretty far. I wonder if there's any way to get the name off that. I don't believe so. Perhaps somebody knows just by the look of that. It was probably bought at the general store right down there. Wow, that's nifty. You know, when they dry out, when they dry out, they always seem to come apart. So this one's on its way. The rust had pushed this apart anyhow. But, that's nifty. On to the next. Alrighty, got a high tone here. Suspiciously penny-like. But I have found pennies, Indian head pennies, in this front yard. So, I hold out hope of maybe finding another. That does look like a penny. I see Mr. Lincoln. That's a weedy, because it says 1920. That's cool. That is beautiful. All right. Found a penny that's 105 years old. Awesome. Love it. We got history right in the hand. Good deal. On to the next. Okay.
And here is where my
microphone quit on me. I'm not sure why, but it was a harbinger of things to come, because later on it would just make a humming noise and I had to re-record. But as you can see here, found a beautiful little suspender buckle right here. And it wasn't super highly decorative, but it did have some interesting angles on it. And you can see the hook clasp and the finger that held a loop in place and could be adjusted. As I look at it now as I'm editing the video, and wondering if perhaps the other buckle that we found earlier that had the ring on it, maybe the ring went into this loop. I'm not sure. I'm not certain how these things work, but it's a possibility that that ring would have gone on the hook. But always a wonderful thing to find such a cool piece of history and hold it right in our hand.
All right. Got a really bouncy signal. That would appear to be a penny. 1914. Well, that's cool. That's an old one.
All right. I picked up a really high tone, very clear, very loud. I almost thought that it was a penny, but as is oftentimes the case, I discovered very quickly that it was not indeed a penny, but it was this little, I guess I would call it not a crotal bell, but a true jingle bell. It has 4 pedals instead of 2. And this was one of the ones that was slid into a track with other bells that were tuned. And as I looked at it, it had 2 patent dates on it. One was October 14th, 1876, and May 14th, 1878. So that is pretty neat. It is a beautiful little bell. I was pounding it on my shovel handle to try to get the dirt out and see if the clapper was still on the inside, and indeed it was. So beautiful little bell that I can add to my collection. It's always great to get something like this out of the ground and hold it right in my hand. That's what this channel is all about. History in the hand.
And it went down into the 40s last night, which is why I'm up here getting ready to throw. This is the last load of firewood I have to put on my pile for this winter. Meteorologists say that there's a 100% chance of winter this year, so I believe them, even though they're meteorologists. We had an amazing hunt. It was absolutely gorgeous, and we found a lot of old things, which is kind of cool. We were down in the hollow, down there in that little community. Let's take a look at what we found. Starting over here, we had some coins. We found that beautiful 1889 San Francisco seated dime. Found a very old adjustment knob for a kerosene lamp. Found a couple of buckles, an old pocket knife. That was some sort of a collar for what I'm assuming was an old tool, and pretty cool Clorox lid for 59 cents. Schwinn quality bicycle emblem that came off of the front tube of a bicycle below the handlebars. Found a cool silver-plated spoon and a petcock of some type. And this was our mystery oval item. I'm not sure what that was. I wonder if it might have been like some kind of a picture frame or something. Here was our little jingle bell, patented October 23rd, 1878. And that is an old cap gun. Not super old, but hey, maybe 1940s, 50s, something like that. Looks like the hammer broke off. And then we did find, our first find was that
that piece of an old scythe that would have been used to cut long grass like this before the weed whacker days. So, my goodness, what a great hunt that was. You know, I had been over that at least twice, and in some places 3 times with my Simplex, and I think the legend actually sniffed out a lot of these things mixed in with the nails and stuff. So sometimes you wonder if upgrading a detector is actually worth it or not. Boy, after a hunt like that, it's hard to argue. But I'm glad that you came with me. It was great having you along. I thank you for joining me, and I will remind you that if you're not looking for it, you are not going to find it, and you're invited to join me next time right here on History in the Hand. See you next time.